Hello, in this video I am going to show you how to change your background using a software called OBS. And more specifically, I'm going to show you how to change your background in Microsoft Teams. So let's get into that. So first you're going to want to go to a website called obsproject.com, and then you'll want to download the program for whatever software you're running. In my case it is Windows, so I will click that, download it, and then I will run the installation process. Once it's installed, you should get something that looks like this. So you'll have one scene set up, you'll have no sources, and you'll be good to go. Now, the nice thing about OBS is, well, one, it's free, but two, there's a lot of great things you can do with OBS. So the first thing you'll want to do is kind of give a name to your scene. So we'll set up a new scene. We'll call this webcam for Teams. You can name it whatever you want, especially once you start to get more scenes. You're going to want to give them more specific names, so it's easy for you to know which one to switch back and forth to. Now we're going to go to sources, and we're first going to connect our webcam. So to do that, we're going to go to video capture device, and we're going to create a new one. And we'll call this webcam. Again, you can call it whatever you want. We'll press OK, and then we'll have a bunch of options come up. So here I am. It's detecting my webcam. If your webcam does not pop up, click this little bar down here until it shows up. But there is mine. So once you have it, we're going to press OK. So here you have your webcam. You can move it across the screen wherever you want it. But you're going to notice that there's this areas around me that I probably don't want on my screen. I also have a green screen behind me, but how do I change that, right? How do I get rid of the green screen so it's actually something that I want it to be? But also there's these black bars to the sides of me that I might want to get rid of. So the first important thing to know is that you do not need a green screen to change your background in OBS, although I do recommend it. With Teams, with Microsoft Teams, when you go to change your background, the software is kind of developed with people not having green screens in mind. So it does do a good job kind of detecting what is you in the camera and what is not you, and kind of editing it out around you. But OBS is a video editing software, and it has people using green screens in mind. So it doesn't have that kind of automatic kind of detecting what is you and what is not you. So you don't need specifically a green screen. I do recommend it, and we'll get into why in a second. But as long as you have a wall that is blank, kind of uniform color, and you have good lighting, you're good to go. So the first thing we'll do is change the webcam so that we get rid of the green screen. We also kind of fix these black bars that are around me and stuff like that. So we'll right click on the webcam and we'll click properties. We'll right click and we'll click filters. And then we're going to want to click the plus under effects filters. So we'll click that, and we'll want to go to crop/pad. So we can call it whatever we want. I'll just call it crop. And then these options will come up the left, top, right, and bottom. And these, of course, are talking about the sides of the screen that we want to crop. So I want to get rid of this black bar to my left, so I'll put in 100. That's not as much as I want. There we go. 120 does it. On the right, again, I want to kind of crop out all this extra stuff that I don't want people to see, like this black bar, but also my green screen doesn't go that far. So I need to get rid of that as well. So again, I'll crop that. 130 doesn't do it. 140, still not there. 150, no. Let's go 160, almost. 165, nope. 170, 170 looks like it doesn't. On the bottom, again, I'm going to need to crop a little bit. It looks like 110 will be perfect. And then at the top, there's a little bit of a black bar above me. So maybe just 10 will get rid of that. So there we go. We can close that. And now you see that I've kind of edited out those black bars that were around me. And there's that little bit of black bar at the top of me and also below me. So now I can reposition this, kind of adjust it the way you want it. Let's say I want it to take up my whole screen. So here we are. all people see on my screen. But now I gotta get rid of this green screen behind me, right? Because I want to put some cool backgrounds behind me. So again, we're gonna right click webcams, go to filters, and we're gonna go to effects filters, press plus, and now we're going to go to chroma key. Chroma key, I'm going to call it green screen because that is what I'm going to be changing using the chroma key. Now, again, OBS is built with people using green screens in mind. So the key color type is going to default be green. And you can see it's already done a pretty great job getting rid of that green screen behind me. You can also change it to blue, magenta, and custom. And you're probably noticing the problem with not using green as your option, right? So if we go to blue, I've kind of become almost a ghost, right? If we go to magenta, my lips are kind of disappearing. So the problem with not picking green as your color is that other kind of colors that your computer is picking up are going to be edited out, right? And it's important to remember that kind of computers use RGB, right? Red, green, blue to kind of see everything, right? So imagine your background was yellow, right? You pressed OK. You can see it's kind of getting rid of almost everything. So I do recommend using a green screen for this just because that's how you're going to get the best effect with the least effort. But if you do have a different color background, for example, maybe you have blue, you can select blue and then mess around with the similarity slider. And what this will do is it will only, so it's kind of defaulted as the default. Bring it closer to closer to 1, it will go less and less similar, or it'll get more specific with the colors it edits out, right? So as I slide it, more colors start to disappear, right? And if I go all the way, everything will disappear, right? So that's one thing you can do, right? So for example, again, imagine you have a blue, let's say, bed sheet behind you. When you originally click on it, the default is 400. You'll look kind of ghostly. But you can mess around with the similarity slider to kind of get it where you still appear, but the screen behind you does not. So that would be my recommendation. Again, I am green, so I am going to go with the default. Again, this is good enough. You'll see that there are some wrinkles, right? You can still see a little bit of outlines. I could mess with the similarity slider a bit, try and get rid of that. But the real reason for why it's like that is actually my lighting right now isn't the best. So if you're having problems where your background isn't fully being edited out, you have little spots, I actually recommend trying to get better lighting. That will usually fix your problems. So here, I've got a pretty good kind of setup now where the similarity is good enough where as long as the lighting that I have doesn't get messed with, everything goes away. So I can press close, and now I have a black background, right? So now I want to put something here, right? You know, I've gotten rid of my green screen. It's time to put all these amazing photos behind me. So what you want to do is press the plus. Now, if you want to add a image, you'll press the image option, create a new image. We'll call this school background. Press OK, and then you'll press browse, and you'll kind of go wherever you've downloaded your images to select it. I put all my images in a folder called OBS, just to keep it nice and simple, easy to find. Press open, your photo will appear. Would help if I go open, press OK. There we go, your photo will appear. We can kind of make it so it takes up the whole page, right? Now, of course, you can't see me anymore. So with sources, they are layers, right? So whatever is at the top is the layer that's in front, right? So I need to bring it back. So I'm back in front, and now my background is edited out. And we have this nice school background. Now, in order to get this to work with Microsoft Teams, you need to do one thing, and that's over down here, you need to click Start Virtual Camera. So what this does is it turns OBS into a webcam. So whatever is going on in this box up here, that becomes a webcam that can be detected by softwares like Microsoft Teams. So if we go into Microsoft Teams, we go to the calendar, and we click Meet Now, we can kind of start a meeting, so we can just hop in and see what that looks like. You'll go in, we'll press Join Now, and here we go. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to Device Settings, because this is where you're going to have to make a few changes. So first, you'll want to make sure that your audio settings are set up the way you want them. But what we care about is our camera settings, right? And specifically, we want to make sure we have OBS virtual camera selected. So my webcam actually comes up as EOS webcam utility. And when you go to join your Teams call, that is what will pop up, right? Whatever your default webcam is. But of course, you've done all this work in OBS to change your background. So you want to be able to use that. So you want to make sure OBS virtual camera is selected. Let's actually turn on my camera, and there I am, right? So that's what you want to do. So again, if I go to my other webcam, right, it'll just go black, save video isn't working. But then if I go into nice OBS, we have it all set up for us where I am in, right? So now let's say you want to kind of take full advantage of OBS and create different scenes. So this is kind of where the magic of OBS lies. So say you want a scene with PowerPoint, right? You click PowerPoint, press OK. Let me open up PowerPoint on my computer. So it's important to actually have the application open. We'll do a blank presentation. That's not too important. And then we'll go back to OBS. So again, we'll go to Sources. We'll click Add. First thing we'll do is we'll go back to Video Capture Device. This time we'll click Add Existing because we already set it up. Add back our webcam. There we are. And this time we're going to go to, again, add a new source. And this time we're going to go to Window Capture. Now, Window Capture, we'll call this one PowerPoint. Allows you to capture different windows. Again, PowerPoint's already in use. We've used that name for a scene, so I will call this PPT. Go OK. And now we can select different windows that we have open to use as a background, right? So if I have, for example, Google Chrome open, right? I can use Google Chrome as a source, right? So I can just have that as a source. But again, let's say we want to do PowerPoint as a source, right? So we have PowerPoint. Let's say we want to take up the whole screen, make sure it's set up nicely. There we go. That looks good, at least for now. For our purposes, that's good enough. Again, we want to make sure we're in front, right? That's the whole point. So make sure you drag yourself to the top. And now you have some options, right? Now, of course, you don't want yourself in the middle like this, right? Because then who can see what's behind you? So the nice thing about PowerPoint is or the nice thing about OBS is you can kind of move yourself around to where you want to be. And this way, you can kind of move yourself around. And then if we go back to Microsoft Teams in that meeting we're in, you'll have to forgive me because I still have background effects on. Press Apply. There we go. And there we are, right? So now here we are in, and we've changed it, right? Then if I want, go back to my full cam. I click the webcam scene. We go back, and you'll see I've switched back to the school. So this is what's great about OBS, is that you can have all these different scenes set up, and you can switch through them on the fly while you're teaching. So you'll have Teams set up. You'll be talking to the class. You're ready to switch into your PowerPoint. You've got it open. All right, let's go into our PowerPoint. Let's talk about it. Right. Then we can set another scene up. We'll call it Chrome. Right. We'll add another source. Again, we'll add another window capture. This time we're going to call it Chrome window. So you can't use the same name. So because we've called this scene Chrome, we can't call the source Chrome. So we'll call it Chrome window. We'll select Google Chrome. Here we go. Make sure it takes up the full page. Then again, we're going to go back to that video capture device, add existing, add your webcam. Maybe you want yourself up here now, or maybe in this corner, right? However you want to appear on the screen. make ourselves a little smaller. And then, again, if we go back to our Teams call, we'll see now we're on Google Chrome, right? And maybe you want to show your students something you've posted onto Canvas for them to see. So this is really the power of OBS, is that you can kind of switch through on the fly, kind of with all these different scenes, right? You can also have multiple sources up on the screen, right? So maybe you want PowerPoint in this corner, and you want, again, we'll go back to window capture and we'll add our Google Chrome window. Maybe you want both on the screen, right? That's another thing you can do. So this is the real power of OBS. It's kind of setting up the scene how you want it, but also being able to switch through them on the fly, right? Oh, here we're on the class site. Now we're on Teams, right? And you don't have to go through that kind of bulky sharing screen feature. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you can let me know.